Podcast is intended for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed are those of the panelists and do not reflect in any way those of the podcast partners, sponsors, or affiliates. Enjoy.
BoxingVoice.com.
What broke him down? Was it just a body punching? I was hitting him with body punching. I heard him actually, he was crying in there. You were saying that Biggs was crying when you hit him? Yes. When did that happen? And perhaps the fourth round on.
BoxingVoice.com.
So that you knew you had him by that time. Absolutely, but I knew he was tough and taking those punches.
DiBiase Productions.
Making women's dresses like, oh.
Let's go, champ.
Welcome back and good morning, TBV. Welcome back to another edition of the Boxing Voice Radio here in the morning. It is 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Central, 6 a.m. on the West Coast, 2 p.m. UK time, and we're here to talk actually some UK heavyweights. Dillian Whyte once again in the headlines, but this time, as Mike puts it, sending shockwaves, and I think he's right. If Dillian Whyte goes ahead with this deal that's being rumored, a multi-fight deal with ESPN, putting him right there with Tyson Fury, essentially making that fight possible, though I would call those shockwaves. So this is what we're going to be talking about today. If this is something that you're interested in, please let us know by calling into 1425-569-5241. Press 1 one time to voice your opinion right here on the Voice of the People hotline. I'm going to go ahead and get on out to my co-host.
I speak it, believe it, receive it. Speak it, believe it, receive it. Speak it, believe it, receive it. I can't say it enough. I speak it, believe it.
Windows count, 2 attempts, handed bands over. Sicko hit, shot and miss, 2 to stand over.
Turn up.
Breadwinner, huh? Look who in the building. Let me check my Instagram. I might be at 1 million.
And I'm in.
BoxingVoice.com.
Yo, what's up, everybody out there in the TBV universe? Yep, we're here with another one. Was it Monday morning, Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning? What's going on, everybody out there? Big ups to my guy, Fat Apples in the chat, UK Boxing Shepherd, my guy, M's, Jimmy J. M. Thanks for all the great graphics. Call Lindo, Mr. Iron Throne, the bigger eagle. Oh, no, the super eagle. What the fuck that is. But yeah, man, great day of boxing, man. Dillian Whyte maybe sending shockwaves through the heavyweight division. But I want to take another look at it. Bob Arum is being Bob Arum. He is getting all the B-sides. First he got Pulev, then he got Fury. Now he got Dillian Whyte. So he has all the players in the heavyweight division, not named Joshua or Wilder, on this roster and possibly doing business with Joseph Parker. So that's one point. Also, we all know that Dillian Whyte is going to be the #1 mandatory in the WBO. Who works well with the WBO? Fucking Bob Arum. There he goes again. Good God almighty. And last one is Eddie Saudi. Is Eddie Saudi? Will Eddie be Saudi with this news? We'll find out, but I'm going to pass it on to my guy, Ron G. What's going on, homie?
BoxingVoice.com.
I've been doing this. I ain't been up and fell off. I've been through the Lennox Lewis era, the Nassim Hamed era, the Sugar Shane Moser era, the Oscar De La Hoya era, Mark Antonio Barrera. I've been through all the eras, and I still been telling you.
You do too much talking. The thing is this.
People want their subjective preference to be the objective reality.
HBO needs to fire you. You don't know shit about
BoxingVoice.com.
Good morning. Yo, it's so crazy in the boxing world where the last time I bumped into Bob Arum, I asked his opinion about heavyweight division. I don't have any horses in the race. Now, he practically has the whole Derby minus Sebastian, or what is it? Skippy and Sebastian.
Seabiscuit.
Seabiscuit. I don't know.
God damn.
I was hoping you would help me out. At this point, though, Bob Arum is closing in the walls against Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder right now. And at some point, top-ranking ESPN is going to have a say in the possible next couple fights coming up. So I'm going to pass it on to my boy Khan.
Good morning to all the guys in the US, and good afternoon to all the UK fans tuning in. Big news, big news. Dillian White has just made a he's made a power move. We have to call it what it is. He's made a good move for his career. If this is correct, obviously we're not reporting anything that's been made official yet. But yeah, it is definitely big news, and it can definitely have a huge effect on what happens this year in terms of the big fights as well. So yeah, let's get into it.
Well, I was asleep last night when this news broke. I was asleep when this news broke. Hence the debate and confusion between me and Mike. I took it down early. Girl Scout cookies will lay you out. Woke up, I want to say around 10:45 p.m., maybe 11 o'clock, to a lot of this Dillian White noise. And right away was excited. I mean, I couldn't help to think, I think the first thing out of my mouth was really like, holy shit. I didn't think Top Rank. It really wasn't. It just wasn't on my mind. I mean, I know he mentioned it in the interview that Daniel Alvarez, our correspondent, did with him when he was in Vegas, but there was so much of him hanging with Showtime that I didn't think Top Rank would be able to get him. And then he came back telling Eddie not to worry. I wish we had that audio from the Coogan interview. He's like, Eddie, don't worry. Stop being nervous. We're good. And now look, I mean, talk about Dillian White doing his own version of Frank Warren, right? Telling everybody everything's good. And then voila. This is interesting. I mean, look, even though it's some sort of roadblock to particular fights, it's still very much interesting because he signs to them. We have potentially 2 purse bids on our hand with Top Rank. And if you read the article, the one by Keith Idek, he states that Top Rank has been instructed by the higher ups, the decision makers at ESPN, to get way more involved in heavyweight boxing. And with the Fury signing, and if they solidify this, which they're saying it's basically going to get an announcement sometime this week. They're just waiting for the contract to be finalized. I'm actually in the background talking with Lamar White, trying to get Dillian, but he's a little busy. And he said, I'm on my way to physio, whatever that is. What do y'all do? What's physio in the UK?
It's like post, for him, it would have been post-workout, therapy, so physical therapy.
Oh.
Well,
he's
look,
15-20.
While you're doing that, I want the chat to kind of look at it because there's already going to be 2 narratives that's going to automatically come from this. It's either one, Dillian White, he didn't get his mandatory position. He's, in the WBC. They're playing with them, so he's going to go get his money. Voila. Or the other narrative that people is going to create is he's ducking Deontay Wilder. He's going to ESPN. They don't want him to fight people until it's marinated to the pot's good and then all these other kind of conspiracies. So it's either he made a lot of money, smart decision move, or he's a duck. What is the perspective you guys see?
I also think it's a bit interesting that what does this mean for the Tyson Fury Wilder rematch this year? Because if White's now signs with ESPN and White's looking to fight, say, in July, and Fury comes out in, I don't know, May, surely with both of them being on ESPN, that fight is so much easier to make. So will ESPN now go and say, okay, we're going to put White versus Fury on in the UK? And where does that leave this rematch that Frank Warren is essentially saying, oh yeah, after the initial interim fight, we're going to go get straight onto the phone and we're going to talk rematch with Wilder? So where does that leave that? It could have essentially, this move by White could essentially stop us getting the rematch with Wilder this year.
I don't think so. I don't think the Top Rank wastes 2 primed heavyweights in very good positions on each other. For instance, why put White versus Fury when you got Fury in a WBC mandatory rematch, right? They already have asked for this interim fight, but they still can go back to Mauricio and ask for the Wilder fight. So they have an avenue at Wilder. With Pulev, they have one angle at AJ. So I think Pulev is the sacrificial lamb here. Tyson or Dillian will get to fight Pulev. I don't think they fight each other. If I'm Bob, I let Tyson fight Pulev. So now he's got a crack at AJ from the IBF's perspective. You don't let Dillian fight Tyson so that he has a crack at AJ from the WBO perspective. So if you're ESPN, you're telling your higher ups, yeah, we got it locked. One way or another, we'll win the purse bid. If we lose the first one with the IBF, then we got a gauge of how aggressive they are, and we'll go back at it with Dillian White. But I think the ultimate goal is to get Joshua on ESPN. And let's not forget that February 26th, Eddie Hearn was on a Boxing Social interview saying that Anthony Joshua can fight on ESPN.
I mean, this is all really interesting. I mean, we have to obviously wait until we figure out, is this a long-term deal? Is this a 1-2 fight deal? Is this only an America deal? Is BT Sports involved? Because ESPN has their relationship with BT. So there's a lot of things that we just kind of have to wait and figure out. But the fact that, Boxing Scene's putting this out, they have a pretty good they don't put out fake news essentially, but they're claiming that multiple sources have informed them. So in that case, we just have to be curious and wait at the same time just what this deal comes about.
But then what does this mean for White in the UK? Because essentially he's been fighting on Sky. So if he now goes with Top Rank, what does that mean for his UK fights? Because if he does have a fight in the UK, does he have is he going to go and do an exclusive deal with Sky, where he can still fight on Sky, where majority, the issue that he'll have is that if he's with Top Rank and Top Rank say, okay, we want you to fight on BT Sport, majority of the subscribers or the people that pay returning customers for Sky, Sky's pay-per-view, are with Sky. BT is just starting out. So what would that mean for Dillian White in the UK when you're basically a pay-per-view star in the UK on Sky? Does he start again on BT Sport, or?
I think they just pick up where they left off, unless, like the article says, his fight's in the US. But if they give him a UK fight, putting him on BT and making it a pay-per-view isn't going to change. Look, Pacquiao did great numbers on HBO, turned around and did not the same exact numbers, but still lukewarm numbers on Showtime. Canelo, same thing. Great numbers on HBO, went to Showtime, great numbers on Showtime. Floyd, great numbers on HBO, went to Showtime, great numbers on Showtime. So it's not like, it's not indicative that he's going to not do well. Like we just don't know. He could be that star that still gets the people to say, all right, I'm going to watch him on BT.
Now I have a question. Obviously, at this point, Fury is now with ESPN. Now Dillian White's with ESPN. Showtime, PBC, did they drop the ball with these signings? Did they not aggressively do this right?
Drop the ball is not even that's not even the word. At this point, we have to wonder, are they in the business? Where's their Showtime fights? Like, nothing's been on Showtime anyway. Like, are we going to see another HBO? Are they going to back out? Can they now see that their $60 million isn't enough for what ESPN and their wide exposure is offering and what DAZN and their deep pockets is offering? I mean, I think that Fox is great, but they still only got a $60 million budget. I know that they're hanging on, and fighters are going to be, sticking with that whole Fox deal because they're looking at the amount of people that could view them. And we see from the statistics and the Nielsen's ratings that the fights on Fox are doing very well, equally as good as ESPN for the same thing. Mediocre fights, great numbers. So maybe they still have a fighting chance, but they don't have that budget. Unless Showtime packs it up and whoever's running Showtime throws out that 60 that they were supposed to give them for Showtime fights, I don't see how they do it. They only got a $60 million budget for the Fox. So what they doing?
But there's what you said about Showtime and HBO. In America, BT and Sky aren't. Sky is a powerhouse in the UK, but BT isn't. BT's only just recently gone into boxing. So as much as I do think there will be, Dillian White will be able to retain some customers, some paying customers in terms of the pay-per-view numbers, and he could potentially lead them to BT. If you have Sky in your house, you most likely don't have BT. It's not as easy to switch the two. So I don't know whether his numbers will be.
Oh, wait a minute. What do you mean by that? Educate me. What do you mean? So Sky and BT aren't two networks on whatever cable provider I have in the UK?
No, because your cable provider will either be Sky or BT.
What?
Yeah, they're not the same. I believe you can pay for Sky Pay. I don't know if you can pay for BT pay-per-view through Sky, but Sky you won't have like Sky and BT together. You'll have one of the two. You pay Sky or you pay BT monthly.
That's so strange. Like for us, right? Like my cable company, I'll stick to me. I don't know what Ron has. My cable company is Xfinity. So I just say, yeah, I want HBO. Well, actually, HBO comes with most of their packages, right? So then I say, yeah, add on Showtime or add on Stars so I could watch, Power and add on Encore. So
you can have the I have I had a subscription on BT through my phone, but I've never had.
Bro,
no. I've never had. I need someone. Someone needs to call in and say that they pay for both the subscription of Sky and BT, and that you can pay for it. Don't get me wrong. You can pay 2 monthly bills. One goes to Sky and one goes to BT, but there's no way that you have both of them combined. It's impossible.
Wow. Well, I know for us, like we have HBO, and so I just go to 300 is HBO and 339 is Showtime over here.
Yeah, it's an add-on for me. I use Hulu TV, so I'm like the non-subscription. Oh, I'm on a subscription-based month-to-month. I cut the cord, so at that point, I pay for the service, and if I want like HBO or Showtime and things like that, Stars, those are individual add-ons, and I can get a discount if I merge it, something like that. But look, this is an interesting thing I was looking at. I think Fox is now officially like merging with Disney, right? And Disney's now Disney ESPN has a relationship. Does this mean like Disney is slowly taking in a huge interest in boxing? Like, is that the direction that they're going? Because that would be real interesting that Fox and ESPN are both on owned by Disney, and they're competing amongst each other. It's pretty much a big house.
I don't know what's happening, bro. I mean, we've seen so many twists and turns in the landscape of boxing. The only thing that I can be happy with is all these twists and turns seem to be on an upward rise. It's not like we're twisting and turning, going down and, getting negative publicity for the sport. The sport's actually growing with all these very alarming announcements, right? Like they come out of nowhere and you think that it's a bad thing, but then it slowly shows you that it's just better for the sport that we love. So I really don't care. I think that Bob has been doing this forever. I mean, look at the guy that he found for Teofimo Lopez. Dude's been fighting in Bosnia or some shit like that all his life, and he's only had 2 other fights outside of that country. But they find these highly ranked, almost undefeated or undefeated guys that their guys can destroy, and they develop them. And White is on a 9-fight win streak. 5 out of those are KOs. But the American public doesn't know him. He needs another 5 of those in the U.S. landscape, And we'll see. White with his personality, I'm interested. I'm interested to see him and see how the American public, do they adapt him?
Now, looking into this is obviously there's the top ranked quote unquote diet, where everyone who comes in gets a couple good, fights to showcase. And I think a lot of promoters do it regardless, PBC also. But at this point, are we going to see matchups like Dillian White versus Brian Jennings? Is Tyson Fury and Dillian White a possibility, or they're just going to keep those two guys away from each other and stack them for the other heavyweight champions? Like, what are the possibilities? What type of matchups are we going to see? Oscar Rivas and Dillian White? Is that something we're going to see now?
It's interesting because Tyson Fury said in an interview recently that because AJ doesn't want to give White the title shot, he will. So it's quite interesting that he's openly said in the interview that he will give, White the title shot because he believes that he deserves it. It's weird because Tyson Fury doesn't actually own a title at the moment. So I don't know how he's going to give White a title shot, but I suppose he's quite open to fighting White.
Would you be interested in a Tyson Fury, Dillian White? Was that pay per view? Would you cash out? Like, yeah, I'm
In the UK, that would be a huge fight. I believe it would be a huge fight in the UK. And if anything, with how Frank Warren's spoken about, Eddie Hearn and how, they've put their tickets from StubHub and all of that stuff, that would be that fight for, I essentially believe, Frank Warren to announce himself and Tyson Fury.
Oh, the press conference. I'm sorry. I just imagine the press conference of a
too,
Dillian White and
that too.
Tyson Fury.
That too.
So you guys
That
really
too.
think that Bob is gonna put?
No. I don't think they're going.
Not anytime soon.
This
I
is
don't think
this
they'll
is
do it anytime
fantasy
soon.
land.
It is fantasy currently.
I just
It is
wanted to
fantasy
entertain
currently.
it because they're both on ESPN, right? So why shouldn't they fight? But we know they're not going to fight each other. But if they did, the press conference would be fire. A Dillian White, Tyson Fury. But no, they're not going to fight each other right away. At least maybe later in their career after they get the cracks of the heavyweights champions. What do you think, Mike?
Hey, what's going on? Sorry, I had to step away for a second. But yeah, man, Dillian White signing with ESPN. If he signs with ESPN, because this is all allegations now. But like Keith Idec told me, I believe last week or week before last, they don't just put shit out in the print. So if they're gonna run with a story, they got some pretty good, solid sources. With that being said, I think it's a damn good idea, and I think it finally shows Dillian White, you know what I'm saying, that he can possibly be that A-side heavyweight on a network. I know Tyson Fury is there, but that's Dillian White's home now too. And it also seems like Top Rank is like really, really invested in it, because when Dillian White came over here the first time, they couldn't get a deal done. But once I guess when 2019 started and the ESPN Plus revenue started like coming in, they told him, hey, go out and make whatever fight you can. Go out and give Dillian White the best offer that you can. And the reason I think they did this, because they might have heard that Brazil pulled out of the White fight and Wilder was going to fight Brazil. So how do you capitalize off that? You petition the WBC just like Eddie was and say, hey, that shouldn't be a mandatory fight. That should be a voluntary. And our guy Dillian White should be the mandatory. And then you go up against Showtime, PBC, Fox, and you bid for that fight. And that looks like what's going to happen. But yeah.
Now, well, just sitting here and just thinking about it, is this the British invasion, for the UK soil? I mean, US soil? Because look, you got Anthony Joshua at Madison Square Garden. Tyson Fury is definitely going to fight in the US now. And Dillian White is going to come back after his long return from his first US fights and now back again. Like, all the heavyweights from the UK are now here in the US. Is this a strategic move, or is this the move they need to do to kind of finish off the career and get the big fights? Or is this all just strategic just to kind of get the US public fans interested and bring them back over to the UK? What do you guys think?
I think all the fighters are at a point where not just age, but also in terms of the number of fights they've had, they needed to make this move. AJ needed to fight in the US. White needed to be I suppose White felt like he needed to be with a platform that's big enough to essentially get him the title fights. And Fury, well, he says he wants to be backed by, a big giant in ESPN. So I feel like they've all made that move because it's the time in their careers where they need to. I don't know if that will lead to the big fights, but I do believe that Top Rank have made a chess move with signing both Tyson Fury and White, and the governing bodies that they're currently in.
And Pula, they also signed Pula.
Exactly, they've got Pulev as well. Yeah, it is a chess move. It's definitely a chess move, because if they do, like Mike, like you said, if they do go with with the Wilder and White, and they go to a purse bid, and they go to Fury and AJ with the WBO in a purse bid too, you could end up having both AJ and Wilder fighting on ESPN.
Now let's talk about my favorite game, The Biggest Loser, Showtime. Like, what's going on, man? Are you?
And Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn lost out on this.
I want to. That's your guy. I'll let you handle the UK, and I'll handle the American side right quick. Showtime, Fury, Joshua, Dillian White, Big Baby Miller. You guys lost all 4 of those heavyweights. 4 of the top 5 heavyweights you guys had on your network, and you guys don't have them anymore. Just seems like, man, can Showtime compete with ESPN in the zone, or is it it's a tough setting for them. Like what's going on? Or do they have so much invest in like other fighters that they can't really budge on giving that kind of money out?
I mean, look, what does Showtime have or PBC? They have Wilder, Dominic Brazil, Adam Kolonowski, Gerald Washington, Charles Martin. It's slim at this point, right? Like, what more do you have here? And even when I talked to Steven Espinoza, he brought up possibilities for Deontay Wilder, and he said White, and said how realistic is the White possibilities. Obviously, he was a free agent at this time. And reminder, this is just these are still kind of quote unquote credible rumors, so nothing's officially signed out there. But at this point, it looks like White is not going to take that Showtime route or the PBC route at all. So that's their lineup. That's their heavyweight lineup. And if Wilder doesn't fight those other guys, those are the guys that you're looking at that he's going to be fighting against on a regular basis until a purse bid comes up or a mandatory position for a White. It's just they're just Top Rank is just having a little bit of everything for both those champions, man. Regardless if they win those, if they're winnable or not, they're just involved heavily. And on top of that, looking at it, Wilder and Anthony Joshua probably should start hurrying up to make that undisputed fight, because now we're looking at the next lineup of the next year or two of all these mandatories being placed up right now. Like, we're seeing it in our face. If AJ and Wilder don't come together, expect all these other fights to appear.
I mean, this might make Wilder go to ESPN. If you look at it and you're like, well, Dillian's there. You know, I could do at least a 2-fight with Dillian. I could get another fight with Fury. I'm still going to be signed to Al, so Al will eventually send me fighters too.
Absolutely. Yep. That's a good possibility that Al would send fighters over there. But Akan, you said something about Eddie Hearn earlier. Like,
yeah, I don't know. I feel like this will hurt Eddie Hearn, but I feel like it will hurt him in the UK. I don't know if it will, obviously in the US he's still trying to make his mark, but in the UK, if you're no longer White's main promoter, and White's been able to, he's contributed to some big fights in the UK. So the UK has had, your Parker, your Chisora twice. So he's contributed to big fights on Sky. If Eddie Hearn's no longer his main promoter, surely that will affect him in some way. I know he said, if White wants to go, I wish him well, but this will affect him negatively in some way, because Eddie's under pressure from Sky to put on good fights. Currently, we're 3 months into the year, and Sky hasn't really had that great of a fight card yet. So I feel like that move by Dillian Whyte can't necessarily be a good thing for him currently.
Does that make Dillian Whyte a
Con real quick? I think that this does hurt Eddie. It looks bad, period. It looks bad. Everyone thought Dillian Whyte was his guy until Dillian let the cat out the bag, and the hardcores was like, oh, he ain't going nowhere because Dillian, put on a poker face in that interview. But yeah, this does hurt, because I spoke to Adam Smith and he wasn't happy. He totally said that they're in the Dillian Whyte business. So how does this affect Dillian Whyte now that ESPN has a deal with Frank Warren? This is gonna affect Sky. Absolutely agree with Akan. I absolutely agree with Akan, because Dillian Whyte is signing himself over the same way that Tyson Fury did. These dudes are going for the money, guaranteed up front, so they don't care about their masters. But guess who cares about their masters? Top Rank. So Top Rank is saying, don't worry, you fight for us, we gonna take care of them archives the same way they got all the motherfucking Pacquiao archives, and they take them everywhere they go. They will have the Dillian Whyte archives moving forward, and they have the right to say to BT, yes, you stream this.
Does this make BT? So this makes Dillian Whyte a BT fighter now, right? Like, since
Possibly.
they have
like nothing's really confirmed out, but it seems like that's the business move.
But hey, Dillian is a savvy guy from what we've seen in this short amount of time. For all we know, he could say, nah, Bob, you could only get my US rights.
And that's true. That's true. Like, if you're Dillian Whyte, you're a bigger commodity over in the UK. So you just don't want to give up your UK rights unless it's worth your while.
Exactly. And I was just going to come back and say, and if you're Bob, having a fighter with his own UK rights not linked to the one that you have this big deal with, he would probably just pay Dillian more to just, give up those rights and let him put them on BT, I would say, because you want to have everything uniform. You don't want to have Dillian White being the only ESPN fighter being streamed on Sky, unless your whole deal's with Sky, right?
Or,
If you're Bob,
I was gonna say maybe if, I'm gonna give, let's just say I'm gonna give Eddie Hearns credit. Like, let me just like not go to the approach that Dillian White left. What if this was something like, look, let's do it like this. You stay with us, you still do the fight, Sky Sports pay-per-view, and then I'll send you over to ESPN. We work kind of like a co-promotional distribution deal. If Eddie did that, man, like if he still like got a hold of Dillian White, woo,
that would be smart. That would definitely be smart. But then at the same time,
the only way he could do that, technically, the only way he could do that if he was his promoter, because then he'll have a co-promotion with ESPN. But as a manager, he don't got any say.
His own manager.
Mm-hmm.
But surely with
ever his manager, we always thought he was his promoter. When he came out and showed that it was fight by fight, it's like he got no ties to Eddie.
But then surely, Ron, with what you suggested, surely Eddie Hearn wouldn't want ESPN to build up White in America when really and truly DAZN would be looking at that thinking, okay, well, how can ESPN, surely we want White on heart with us. We have this platform. We've given you this budget.
Well, this is what I was thinking. Because originally we all thought Dillian White was going to be on DAZN, right? Maybe we were all like, oh, yeah, Dillian White Chisora to DAZN. What the fuck? It's not on there. What the hell? This is bullshit. You know, I have Showtime too, but I'm not mad. But like, what the hell? Why is it on DAZN? Maybe there's just really no actual interest in DAZN. So he whipped up the best deal that he could have, and ESPN was offering. Maybe DAZN was like, we don't want it. The UK, obviously, yo, we still want you here.
I just feel like Dillian White got snubbed by DAZN for that Chisora fight, and he really probably didn't have any interest with messing with DAZN at all. But I want to play hindsight is like 2020 Monday morning quarterback. If you go back and listen to that Dillian White interview with IFL over the weekend, the guy had a lot of bravado and a lot of swag, kind of like he knew something that everybody else didn't know. The way he was talking about AJ, and we all know that Dillian White fights on Sky Sports, so why would he be bashing Sky Sports boxing? We all know that he wanted, but the things that he was saying and were like taking real hard jabs at him, calling him the Lance Armstrong of boxing and everything. So it just seems to me like Dillian White probably had this planned out weeks ago and kind of spilled over in the interview that he had with Kugan. Not by saying things, but just by like body mannerisms and just like the swag in which he was saying things, for lack of a better word.
So if you can rank, I guess, right now, the lineups like Showtime, Fox, DAZN, ESPN on America's stance, who's at the top, who's at the bottom right now? If you can do this, would you say
as what though? Like
just
what do you
line
mean?
up like if you only had one channel to watch boxing, like you had to just sacrifice the other three for a month or a year, what channel are you going to stick with? Because I'm turning Showtime off right now. Like that's
Showtime would definitely be at the bottom of the list.
I would say Showtime, but at the same time, man, they got Wilder on that bitch, man. Wilder is one of the most exciting fighters in my opinion.
But Fox, man, Fox got all the fights right now, man. Fox got all the fights.
I totally understand. If I had to choose one, but if I want to choose one, fuck, probably DAZN.
What about you? Oh, okay, and that's on the phone. For me, you know, you got Canelo, it got Jacobs, it got the Joshua fight on there. You know,
likely to get Triple G as well.
There's a chance it might be Triple G.
A slim chance.
If they get
might be able to get Vladimir Klitschko too. There was an article on World.
Yeah, there's an article that came out as well. Yeah.
So there's a slim chance that you might be able to get Vladimir Klitschko, and that'll be another shockwave sent through the fucking sport of boxing, man. This shit is, I mean, like I said, boxing is in a great spot right now. Our sport is growing, and the more eyes and the more big news that we can have breaking is better for the sport.
I mean, I guess just looking at this, like a lot of these things are just kind of curveballs coming in and boxing, and a lot of things just seem so unpredictable at this point. I feel like tomorrow I can wake up and it'll be a crazy signing that I just didn't expect. I'm just trying to think, do they all just go to each representative? Like, I've read that article and he said he had a meeting with ESPN and Showtime and DAZN, with which Hearns Matchroom Boxing is partner in the US. I mean, it's just the move. Everyone's just kind of now freeing up and just jumping over the place.
If you're I mean, to say that he met with DAZN and Eddie Hearn, in my opinion, is like, how do you let him slip through your fingers if you guys are really invested in the heavyweight division? Like, you were his promoter, and you pretty much had first dibs on him, so you could offer him the things you want. You guys gave Miller extra money to fight AJ on the DAZN card. So I mean, like, why not invest that money in Dillian White? You know what I'm saying? Not let him walk away. But I don't know, man. It just seems like DAZN may have dropped the ball too, in my opinion. Or is Bob Arum just that fucking good at what he does?
What about
how did DAZN drop the ball on Dillian?
Yeah, I mean, he said that he met with DAZN over here when he came to the States. And if you met with DAZN and your promoter already has a working business partnership with DAZN, how could DAZN not sign you? You know what I'm saying? It seems like either they really didn't want him, or they weren't invested in him, or they see him as a real threat towards AJ. And I see him as a real threat towards AJ.
I don't know about a real threat, Mike.
You hating. You hating. If you
No,
think
it's
Dillian White not a threat towards AJ, you hating.
No, it's just hard to call him a real threat when you've already been knocked out by the man. Like, it's hard. It's hard to then say he's now a big threat to AJ when AJ already cleaned him out completely. It wasn't like it was a competitive fight. It went 12 rounds. He was hanging on the ropes. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but like Ness said, he won 9 straight fights in a row, 5 by KO, and been very impressive against some of the similar opponents that AJ had. But we got a special guest right now. Nestor Gibbs has somebody on the line.
Yeah, we got Lamar White, the brother of Dillian White. So since we're discussing this and we're talking Dillian White possibly signing to the network ESPN and all the news that broke last night, I want to introduce to you Lamar White. Lamar, before we get into that topic, just let the world know a little bit about yourself. We know you just signed the new fighter. We had Jack is the Truth, aka Akin over there checking him out, or is making a scheduled date to go visit him. But we know you're signing more and more fighters. Just let the world know a little bit about what you got going on.
Company Black Box Management. So I'm trying to look for the new up and coming talent. So I'm liaising and advising and co-managing like heavyweight Shakan Pitters, who won the ultimate fighter recently. You know, he's 6'6" as a light heavyweight, you know, undefeated. Yeah, he's a good prospect.
Now, you guys have another heavyweight, right? Isn't Fabio your guy?
Yeah, Fabio. We've got a few other ones. Yeah, Fabio Woodley, Richard Riakpo, the cruiserweight. He's got the WBA Intercontinental. He defended that successfully on Saturday, March the 2nd against McCarthy. Richard's got a lot of power, you know.
We definitely seen that one, brother. We definitely seen that when we were tuned into it very closely because we all had parlays on it. I'll be honest with you. I got lucky because I put a parlay on Rackport by knockout, but I also hedged it. I had more by decision because this was his biggest step up. But, you know, we all got paid on Rackport by knockout over here for sure.
Yeah. No, it's true. It was for me, it was a 50-50 fight. That guy had vast experience as an amateur. And he didn't do too bad as a professional, you know, so it could have been one of those banana skins. But he come through that test with flying colours and still learning on the job, you know what I mean? But it was a better performance than the Sam Hyde one. So he just moves forward and continues to learn and progress.
So I wanted to ask the question. There's obviously articles that's been floating around on Boxing Scene reported by Keith Idec about Dillian White, multiple sources, ESPN. Can you give us a little bit of that sauce? Is this true? How true is this?
Well, listen. I can't confirm or deny, but it's in the news, man. I don't know who leaked it, but hey, whatever's out there is what it is. It says it's not complete, so I guess we'll have to wait until all of that's complete. But there's various people, who's in talks with. So it's one of those ones. We came out there, we showed a lot of love, and he's in talks with a few people. But someone's leaked some information here about ESPN saying he's very close. A bit strange. Why would you wait and say it's very close and not just come out with a completion or wait? Don't know.
So would you say that Eddie Hearn dropped the ball? I mean, I know you're saying it's a leak and it's not yet signed or confirmed, but hypothetically, if Dillian walks across the street, or rather across the pond to ESPN, essentially, would this be a loss for Eddie Hearn?
Well, I personally probably say it would be a loss for Eddie Hearn, but he might think something differently, because clearly he's got AJ as his superstar, and as a handler and someone you'd say you'd want to take more care and put a little bit more effort into someone who is your, number 2 top tier fighter in your stable, So it's a bit weird, but I don't know. There was an interview he said if Dylan left, it wouldn't be his loss or something like that. So I'm not sure, but for me, it's just weird. I think you'd want to try and do the best you can for all your fighters, because remember, that would be your motto. You'd stand by your guys who are with you. You do the best for them. You look out for them. You try and get them the best possible fight. I think everything we've got, we've worked hard for and achieved a lot by our team pushing the agendas and getting stuff done. But listen, we won't take anything away from him. Matchroom, Dillian's done incredible with Matchroom, but then not that's by his own hard work also. You know what I mean? But then they've given the platform. But I think their main concern is Joshua. I hear that. We've got all the belts, he's the world champion, and he's the golden goose.
How's it going, Mr. How's it going, Mr. White? My name is Michael Gross. Now, I wanted to ask you, let's just say these rumors are true. Does Dillian White, does this deal include any UK TV rights for Dillian White if this deal is true? Or is Dillian White still a UK TV free agent?
Yeah, that one I wouldn't be able to answer, my friend. But it's a good question. I'm sure all those stuff will be unfold shortly, and your answers you're looking for will be forthcoming shortly. But yeah, I don't have the answer to that.
Spoken like a true politician.
So Lamar, do you prefer? What do you prefer? Because our chat is saying, he goes by Dean. Others are saying he goes by Lamar. What do you prefer to be called?
You know what? It is both. But Dean is what it is. But listen. Sometimes people are comfortable with one. But Dean White is, the name is preferable, if you don't mind. Yeah.
No problem.
I should have said it from earlier, but because you was on the Raw, I just thought to myself, let you continue, because people do know both names. So it is a bit, you know what I mean?
For sure. So, Dean, are you Dillian's manager?
No. Dylan manages himself, but we all, we want the best for him. So, I myself am more an advisor, older brother. So what I do is I give him the advice, and there's other advisors in the team. We just work as a team. We talk, and the members in the team will get to a good resolution, whatever it may be. But as a team, I think we talk over stuff, and the guys that are in the team have guided him excellently, but he manages himself. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. I want to change gears a little, real quick. Dillian White had an interview with IFL where he was talking about Lawrence Okolie, and Okolie came out on Twitter and said some things about him. Then Dillian White said, "Hey man, when I see you, I see you." Then Okolie posted up some old sparring footage. I just want to know, man, how did all these things happen? where does this beef stem from? And we all know like Dillian White is not the kind of guy that just plays a whole lot of games. So if he says something, he's pretty much going to back up what he says.
You better believe it. But you know what? A Coley situation is a bit more easy to talk about. A Coley, that sparring footage is always good when people put up 10-second or 20-second clips. But in that particular sparring, it was actually, you know, it was a good spar. That was many, many years ago, long time ago, in fact. I don't know, 4 or 5 years probably. Maybe even longer, I can't remember. Cody's a big, strong guy. He's quite sharp. You know, he's ranging. But you can see, you know, Dill was slipping and messing about. But make no bones, Cody got hurt really bad in that sparring. So, you know, if you wanted to be an honest person and show the footage, you should have showed the whole footage. One thing I'll say, he obviously, you know, he has balls, he has heart. Obviously, Dillian's a bigger, stronger guy, and he come to work. You know what I mean? And that's what sparring's about. But he's unprofessional for him for leaking that sparring. But you know, obviously, no one knows more about it than myself because I'm virtually there at everything. You know what I mean? But that particular sparring, he didn't actually say that he ended up, I don't know, getting his head back in a little bit. He broke his hand. He was hurt. He stopped the sparring early, and stopped the sparring early when he came in with a lot of braggadocious talk that he could do as many rounds as Dillian wanted. And when the pressure and the fire, you know, was too much, he said, listen, my hand's hurting. I can't sit out of this eye. I'm going to call it quits on the amount of rounds we're going to do because he was, you know, under the cosh. So it's always good early sparring. People come, they start sharp, and later on down the furlong, they fade or whatever, you know. But he was against a big, stronger guy, and he started to fade and get punished. But like I said, he let his hands go. As you can see, he's gone on to do well, Olympian and stuff, and he's doing good in his career. But he's a big cruiserweight. So if he wants to go back after, he was meant to be fighting, I think that sparring was on like a Wednesday or Thursday. I can't remember, but I kind of worked it out. I know he was fighting this Saturday. He was unable to fight because he was that injured, he couldn't fight. He damaged his hand, his eye was bruised, I think he bruised his ribs. He couldn't fight. I'm sure they've got history of that. And if they want to be honest, talk the whole truth. You know what I mean? What I'll say is he was a definite, a hungry lion. He come in there and he wanted to try and get kind of a scalp. He wanted to get a rep off of Dillian. But Dillian's a veteran, you know. He kept slipping, touching him up and just wearing him down. And eventually he ended up stopping the sparring early. We don't want to go into stuff and talk about these kind of stuff because it's unfair, but he let the cat out of the bag and started to try and get a bit of a clout chase off of that situation. I actually like a Cody. When I see him, he's polite to me, I'm polite to him. But this kind of incident or situation here, what he's making, it doesn't make for a good ending or reading. You know what I mean? For me, I feel my bro should have just, said to him, my friend, you need to, concentrate on your own weight division. You're not at the elite level I am. You may never be at this level. So concentrate on yourself, clear out your own division and concentrate on that. And then if in due course, if you do get to this kind of level, then you can talk to me. But right now, you've got a lot of work to do, kid. And just leave it as that. That's my personal thing. But listen, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. And to be honest, I would have rather the guys in the news didn't mention it because, he is a fiery character and he's going to respond in kind because he's a real man who wears his heart on his sleeves. So, you know what I mean? It's just one of those.
Hi, Dean. How you doing? I was wanting to ask you about Dillian White's 13th of July date, which he spoke of. With this, alleged news not being confirmed yet, would that be delayed or is he still looking to fight on the 13th of July?
I couldn't confirm overnight. I'm sorry about that. I'm sure that's something you guys are going to have to wait. And
Dean running for prime minister or something. He didn't want to answer no question. Let me ask you another question right here now.
No, don't be like that. I do want to answer some questions, but some of the questions are out of my hands.
I'm just joking with you, big dog. I'm just joking.
When it comes to, you know.
My first question: Dylan White is ranked #1 in the WBC, and I think he's ranked #1 in the WBA. Let's just say the ESPN deal goes through and it's official. What sanctioning body has Dylan told you that he want to go down and try to get a belt in, since he's so high in both of them?
Listen, he wants a Wilder fight. Now, everyone knows you can see how vocal he is about wanting the Wilder fight. You know, it makes for good reason. You know, obviously Wilder is the WBC champ. It's a prestigious belt, one of the most prestigious belts. The team belt. So he's after that. Obviously, as long as the numbers are right, also because this is a business. You know. And some people, the fans, and some people don't understand that at times, you know, that the finances have to be on an equal par to a degree, and both fighters got to be happy. Because if they're not happy, you know, they're not going to sign. Everyone says they should sign for legacy and so on. I hear that. You know, I do hear that. But essentially, none of these fighters fight for free. So, you know, we've got to kind of bear that in mind. But I definitely believe he'd like to go for Wilder. And if not, I believe, is it Manuel Charles with the WBA regular?
So you guys are still considering going down that WBA regular route? Is that going to like prepare you guys to be like the mandatory in the WBA?
I don't know, because I know Joshua's got a WBA belt. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. He has a WBA super.
Yes. So obviously that's another fight. He'd love that fight, but then obviously the numbers, the money he was offered, he wasn't happy with. You know, a lot of people said he should have took that $5 million, but you know, he believes he knows what his value is, and he didn't accept it. But then there again, you come to AJ Miller, and Miller was offered $10 million, $8 million. I know that was not solely from AJ, that was partly from the zone. So, you know, when you look at stuff like that, I believe he made the right choice, because you've got a guy there who is not as known as my brother Dylan, who's not a pay-per-view fighter. He's not even headlined his own show before. So when you look at those things, if you're talking the value that he brings to the table, it's not as considerable as Dylan. But then I understand the logic in it, because it's in America, it's an undefeated fighter. You get to break into the market and open yourself up to the Wilder fight as well, because you're saying, well, I've come here, I've put on my own, you know, pay-per-view event possibly, or whatever it is, and I've done the numbers in here. So when he goes back to the table with Wilder, Joshua has a bigger, you know, bargaining tool also. So I get it. He wants to get himself known out here. So I understand that side, because obviously it's business. So it's one of those. But definitely the two top boys he's after, and if not, he's just got to look at the landscape and figure out who is the best chessman. Because obviously it's chess, when you're at this kind of level here, you've got to make the right move towards either the belts or the right figure until a belt holder is open or opportunity there. So, yeah.
Okay, another hypothetical question. Who does Dean White want to see Dylan White make his U.S. debut on ESPN against, if the deal with ESPN goes through? Who do you want to see your brother against when he finally fights on ESPN for his debut?
Well, let's take ESPN away for a second. Just period. I would have loved to see the Dominic Brazil fighter, because I mean, I think that's a nice matchup. And what it is it gives Dylan the opportunity to fight a big guy, 6'6", with great heart, good punching power, and who's got desire to win. You know, because Dominic Brazil, he's a tough lad, and he has that desire. You've seen him on numerous occasions. He's he's been under the cosh, and that will and that desire have driven him back from the brink of defeat, or and then he's pulled it out of the bag against Ngannou, against Mansour. I think did he injured his shoulder in that fight? Is that the fight he injured his shoulder, Mansour?
Yeah, no, I don't think it was that fight.
Yes. Yeah, so he came back. So I mean, I believe it would have been a good fight because obviously all these other guys are really true guys. So it would be good for him to, test the range, use his jab, and then later on try and sink that left hook on the unmissable target of Dominic Brazil's head. And I think he got a spectacular knock out it again. But you would have had to, wear him down and play the game correct. Yeah.
So I just have a quick question. I actually 2 questions. Did you see King Kong Ortiz's last performance? And on top of that, there's all these speculations on Ortiz didn't want the fight, the contracts you were supposed to send over here, yada yada. Like, what was the whole story about King Kong Ortiz, Dillian Whyte, and what do you think about King Kong Ortiz's last performance?
I watched a little bit. Really, I'm not being funny. I should have actually watched it, but that UFC card this weekend was amazing. That I could not miss. I like that Boston. UFC had a stat card, so I did.
Bruh, that card was insane.
So I didn't have insane. Listen, you couldn't have missed that card. I'm very sorry, man. I'm a big boxing fan, but I come from jiu-jitsu, wrestling, and kickboxing background, MMA. So, I do still have a passion for that. So I watched that. So that card, I watched all them fights, and then I was quite busy dealing with the signing of Shakan Peters and stuff like that, and other stuff. I'm just under the cosh. I'm actually coming to Texas on Saturday, funny enough. I'm coming to the Earl Spence and Mikey Garcia, so I'm going to come out a week earlier.
Hey, Dean, real quick. We got this thing called Border Wars on March 15th, and we have our most loyal listeners, and some of the hosts actually compete in 3 rounds, 2 minute rounds. So, is there any advice you could give a first time fighter getting in the ring on breathing, on punch selection, how to conserve energy? Is there anything you could give our loyal listeners?
Oh, what they're listening now, you mean? Yeah.
Say what now?
Are you saying now? Are they listening? Are they listening now? Yeah. Or
yep. They're getting ready now, and they're fighting on March 15th, the day before the Earl Spence fight. Like, we got a gym, we got a ref, we got belts on the line, we got everything going on. Real belts, that's that. Like, no Walmart belts. I'm talking about a real IBF, a real IBO, a real WBC. I'm saying everything real.
Yeah. You're saying they're getting with that smoke. Yeah, I feel that. Well, listen, a lot. What the best thing is, to try and stay as relaxed as possible. You've got to take it in your strides. Obviously, all the hard work's been done. Whoever, if they've trained for it, the supreme athlete will prevail. So, they got to just be calm, try and stay relaxed, go in there. And what they got to first do is obviously, use your jab, try and catch your range, and be smart, pick your shot selection. And if the fight starts fast, try and slow the tempo down to what suits you, And that's what's important with a lot of people. A lot of people got in the first round and try and do everything in that first round and let the whole gas tank out. It's quite bizarre. But, if they can stay relaxed and try and get in there and dictate the tone with their jab early and stuff, and just be smart, man. I'm sure, if they've done the right training and they've lived the life, they should be fine on fighting that.
Dean, so Team Ortiz came out recently and they said that they were sent an offer by Whyte to fight him back in December, and that it was a low offer, but that they accepted it, but they were never sent a contract. So do you think it's part of Whyte's, immediate future to fight Ortiz at all?
Potentially, that's a fight, a billion likes also. But what we look at is, if there was an offer, I don't know what the offer was. He believes if they gave him, they probably gave him a fair offer in terms of the value he brings. In terms of, he's an excellent fighter for me. I like his style, Cuban southpaw, moves well, punch selection pretty good, quite powerful. But the thing is, he doesn't speak English. I don't know if he's got the most amazing fan base. It's a tricky one when one person doesn't talk. You know, there's not a lot of hype there. I think the hardcore fans will understand it, but then you've got a guy with an interpreter talking, and it doesn't just make for good reading, I guess. You know what I mean? But for me, a lot of people call him the boogeyman. And he's like, he's a decent fighter. But I caught glimpses of the fight with Hammer, and Hammer was catching him with some decent shots. You know, Hammer lit him up a couple of times. And then what? He went the distance with it.
Correct.
Yeah, so Hammer's a tough boy, man. He's got a little bit of power there as well, Hammer. But I mean, listen, I think if there's not many other fights, that's one of them. I think that's definitely, at the minute, I believe I heard there was Povetkin and Ortiz that, you know, out there that was mentioned. But I know I think they all had fights and so on, but I don't know what's going on. It's just what depends how the landscape starts to unfold, because Wilder's fighting maybe 18 and it's looking like it'll be in Brazil. Yeah?
Yeah, I understand it completely. But with Wilder taking the route that he's taking, for example, if he takes Ortiz, and obviously Tyson Fury is rumored to have an interim fight, and AJ's fighting Miller, could that potentially be the next fight for White? Would that be one of his options that you guys would be looking at?
Say that again. Which option? Who's that?
Luis Ortiz.
Are you saying
with everyone, as in immediately? So with everyone, all the other top heavyweights, essentially being engaged with another fighter, could Ortiz be an option for White's next fight?
Yeah, it's a potential. It's potential because a lot of the guys are occupied. All what's potential is, and don't quote me on this, but I mean, if Wilder fights Brazil, the WBC might just mandate that the winner needs to fight Dillian. So that's a potential for later on down the line, and then it's down to my bro and the team or us to look at what else is on the table, maybe to take a different route until, you know, the winner of that is confirmed, if you understand me, and then they might fight. So he might take a chilled fight in the interim. I don't know. This is just me just thinking outside the box, depending on the WBC sanctions, because it was meant to be first between Dillian and Dominic Brazil coming up the 16th of March. And now I saw Dominic Brazil saying, you know, Wilder's reached out to him and, you know, he'd prefer to fight for world title, which is totally understandable. You know, these guys come into this game for big money and trying to fight for belts. He's probably going to get a career best purse also. You know, maybe potentially fighting, but he gets the opportunity to fight for world title. And also, he feels maybe some form of redemption against Wilder and his crew that, you know, attacked him when he was with his family and his wife. So, you know, he's chomping at the bit to probably get that fight to see if he can get redemption or punish this boy he believes was disrespect to him and his family. So, you know, if that goes the way it goes, and then the faction body says, well, Dillian Whyte is to fight the winner of this, then the option is potentially that we could address that and look at an easier fight. If that's not the case, then we look at the landscape again. But it's all hypothetical as we're talking, and this is just me thinking outside the box and really dreaming ocean and stuff.
Well, Dean, I want to thank you for your time and thank you for coming on to the show. If you got any social media that you want to give out to the people, go ahead and give it out now.
No, I'm just thanking you guys for the opportunity as always. I'm going to contact Kareem. Listen, Black Box Management MT on Instagram, but the black is BLVCK. Black Box Management on the Instagram. You can check me out. And yeah, I'm just looking for talent, man. So any talent, they can hit me up. You know what I mean? If they need good advice or management, they can hit us up. Me and my bro Bill, if they're looking for a team. But I'm not trying to build a great big stable because I'd probably do the guys a disservice or injustice because, you know, keep it small, keep it personal, and try and give them the best advice and experience and knowledge that I have, you know?
Hey, Dean, before I let you go, I need a favor, man. Speaking of IG, we need to know, and you got to ask your brother. You got to ask your brother, man, why are we blocked on IG? We try to tag him. We try to put him in posts, but we can't find him. And then I go on my own personal IG, and there he is. So if you could do us that favor, we will be very, very appreciative. And tell him whatever we did.
Let's go! Let's go! I'm ready!
It ain't nothing personal. It's just boxing.
No. He blocked you on Instagram.
Man, blocked me like a motherfucking offensive lineman.
No, he don't mess about. He don't even play that game. He don't play that game. Enough times he threatens me with the same line. Listen, yo, homie, I'm gonna block you. I'm not interested in your abuse. You know, he don't mess around. Listen, I don't have time and energy. He said, I just block and delete. Goodbye. That's his favorite line. But when I do get in touch with him, I'll ask him what the issue is there, and we'll try and see if we can resolve that for you guys. Are you guys going to the fight as well before you go? Let me quickly ask you. Are you down in Texas for the Earl Spence and Mikey Garcia?
Absolutely. Is it hot in Texas? Shit, we gonna beat her.
It's actually only 27 degrees in Texas. Actually, 19 degrees today.
I'm talking about next week, man, when we touch down. It's gonna be like 75. This guy Ness is always pessimistic, man. But yeah, man.
And you gonna be out there?
Yeah, I leave on Saturday. I leave this Saturday. I've got 2 more days.
So what, you got a fighter on the card?
I'm gonna be out there. No. I'm networking, my friend, man. And you know what? I'm a big fan of Earl Spence Jr.'s anyway. I went to the one when he fought Lamont Peterson in New York, and now I'm here again. I've been following the journey. I met him a little while back in Vegas, and then I've just been following the career. I'm just trying to maybe just meet up and trying to get these links, man, because potentially if I can get a fighter on PBC out there or whatever, I'm just trying to connect the dots, man, and see if I can network. Because it's always good to network, you know what I mean?
So you a hustler, Dean. I love it. Sounds like us, man.
And speaking of Earl Spence, man,
what part of Jamaica you guys are from? I was just in the grill in Valentine's.
We're from all over, but check this. I normally base myself in the grill and Oakley saying, listen, over in Jamaica is not to be messed with, you know? It's not to be messed with over there. It's a very dangerous place. You get it wrong. Oh, yeah, I saw you on the Instagram, actually, didn't I? You was over there having fun, jumping up in the Christian stuff.
Yeah, man. I love it out there, bro. Yo, I'm actually trying to play in my next one, and my girl was like, you want to go back to Jamaica? I looked at her like, for real? Because I don't mind it, man. I love it out there.
Listen, Jamaica's really nice, man. But listen, you know, sometimes if you have money and you go back there and you act a certain way, sometimes you could it could be misinterpreted. But you know, there's a lot of crime and poor people there, so you got to be careful. For me, I'd play the game. I love my homeland there, and I visit quite often. You know, I like to go and party down. I'm a little party boy. I go to Dream Weekend down in the grill every year. I won't be going this year because I'm busy working and networking and continuing to try and get some growth. But Jamaica, man, come on, man, you can't beat it.
Yeah, man. I love it. All right, Dean. Well,
hold on, man. He an Earl Spence fan, you know what I'm saying? I can't let him leave without asking the $1 million question. Since y'all know what I'm saying, maybe about to allegedly about to go with ESPN, Terrence Crawford, Earl Spence, who wins and why?
You know, is he coming all the way from across the pond to follow Terrence Crawford?
Is it April 20th yet? We don't know.
So, no, do you know what? Funny enough, I actually really like Crawford as well. He's an amazing fighter. But you know, like we was on the same card as them in Nebraska. Remember when my bro Dylan fought
Derek Rossi.
His name in Nebraska.
Derek Rossi?
Not Rossi. It wasn't Rossi. It was
Last name is with a T. I just
remember
read it
that,
today.
yeah.
I just read it today, this morning on the article. I think the last name is with a T.
Oh, Tan, Malcolm Tan. There you
Yeah,
go.
Malcolm Tan.
Yeah, Malcolm Tan. Yeah, so I met Crawford. I was out with them after, and Jay Prince and a few other guys. I've actually kept in touch with Jay Prince and Leonard and a few of those guys. When I get to Houston, I will be contacting them also and see if they're free, see what's going on, see if they could show me about Texas and let me know how it goes. But yeah, Crawford, wow, what an amazing fighter as well. Listen, but that boy, Errol Spence, is a real bully. Big old bruiser, real bully. See that fight? I'd like to see that fight. That fight would have me a little bit on the fence, but I believe obviously Errol's a lot. He's a lot bigger. He's a lot bigger guy. But listen, normally they say a big good and beats a small good, but in this case here, boy, I definitely wouldn't put my house on who's going to win this one.
Well, D, man, thank you again, brother. Don't want to keep you any longer, but it's always a treat.
Again, man.
We're going to check you out in Texas for sure, get you on that camera and hang out with us, man. We'll invite you to our own little Border Wars. It's going to be happening maybe too early for you, but it is Friday morning. We'll stay in touch. I'll WhatsApp you. Thank you again. There you have it. Dean White, advisory role for Dillian White. Has his own managerial company looking to sign fighters. So if you got talent, you already know where to find him on his social media and get it together. Want to thank him and his team for coming on, obviously. Yeah, so I want to go ahead and pass the ball. We're going to get out to these phone calls and pass the ball to my co-host as I go check a video that I've sent in the background of an alleged Lawrence Okoli's girlfriend that looks pretty damn good and allegedly can rap.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think she's
She's an artist. She's a good artist too.
I have no idea where Ness was going with that at first.
Well, I have no.
Me
I,
either.
honestly,
I thought it was like
didn't
one
think
of
you
them,
were going there at all.
Tiana, I thought it was like a Tierra Marie thing.
Someone tagged me like Ness, Lawrence Okoli's missus.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like a Tierra Marie thing, but it's not. But yeah, one thing that I took away from the
Mike just talked over that. Mike,
I didn't know you want, bro. You want to get flagged? Do you want to get flagged?
You want to get flagged? I love
want to
Mike.
get flagged, man?
Yo, Mike is the truth, bro.
You could get like 15 seconds off for fair use, man.
I'll go ahead then.
We're reviewing her rap, but never mind that. Go for it.
I was just gonna say, Dylan White is his own manager, so that means he kind of brokered the deal with Top Rank, which is very, very impressive and a very, very nice business move. Man.
What's so impressive about that? He saves that 10-15% right there. You know
exactly. You know what I'm saying?
That's a lot of money.
On top of all this, you know, even though we didn't get the answers, we definitely know that something's coming. And at that point,
I think we got the answer.
I can't neither confirm or deny it. Come on, man. That's all I do.
But you can't confirm or deny you saying it's true.
But just real quick, what's real interesting when you talk to King Kong Ortiz, granted after the Christian Hammer fight, he said, "Look, if I have to, I'll sign up to ESPN." So maybe ESPN's the move. Maybe this is where everyone's going if you're in the heavyweight division.
They better not fuck around and sign King Kong. I'm gonna be like, bro, I'm gonna do a show about Showtime. I'm like, this gotta be. Hey, oh yeah, we supposedly have Brian Custer on tomorrow. We couldn't have Virgil on today. He texted me, had to reschedule it. I put everything in the pre-pro, but Brian Custer tomorrow at 10 a.m. So hopefully he can give us a little look on the inside, you know what I'm saying, of everything going on Showtime and kind of give us a schedule for the next fight dates.
All right.
Remember to rate us 5 stars on iTunes.
These calls are brought to you by El Camino Electrical Services, experts in electric vehicle charging stations. For consultations and turnkey installation, visit us at elcaminoelectricalservices.com.
520 watches, only 148 thumbs up. That's not acceptable at all. And I'm not just saying smash the thumbs up on this video. Smash the thumbs up on every TV video that you watch, because Ron's out here putting in work. He's going to go see Joe Smith and Dimitri Bivol presser today. He's going to be at the fights this weekend. Ness is going to be in fucking Texas on Wednesday. I'm gonna be there on Wednesday too. So we're out here, we're working, trying to get more and more content. So just hit the thumbs up button. It costs you nothing. Just like a little click, like look. That's it, man. That's all you gotta do. Period.
I like that sound effect.
Going out to Boomeranga in Texas. JD, are you gonna be in Dallas at least so we could chill?
JD, motherfucker.
There's a lot of things I like to do, so just try to get on my games on boxing. I don't know why they gonna call me because I'm a 54 pounder, but I have a brother that's at 160.
JD, what's going on,
homie? Chilling, man. Yes, I will be there Friday morning. I'm leaving Houston around 4 in the morning Friday. So I'll be in Dallas around 8 a.m.
Damn, champ, you better leave a little early for traffic because you know I think the fight's starting at like 8 or 9. The gym, we got the gym from like 9 to 11, so you don't want to be late.
Damn, we started the fight at 8 a.m.
Okay, yeah.
This work, all right?
These niggas about to be sleepy out here. Hey,
my goodness.
They about to be sleepy out here throwing punches.
They're fighting on UK time.
But yo, yeah, I'll be there close to 8. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, it'll be 40 degrees. I already checked the weather. It's gonna be around in between 40 and 55 degrees that weekend.
Okay.
But
we bringing the heat then.
But
it was different for me.
Yeah, check this out, man. Check this shit out, dog. Like that man came on here and talking about he don't speak English, talking about my man Ortiz. Listen, man, right there, you supposed to hit him with the cut it. We ain't trying to hit it. Listen, Canelo don't speak English. Since when in boxing does English fucking matter? Only when it comes to Ortiz, right? Man, cut that shit out, dog. Y'all got to rebuttal that. You're supposed to kill that narrative right there. But I can't help but notice he had his tap dance shoes on, like he was dancing all around the Ortiz question. Like, listen, at this point, I don't even care to ask about White Ortiz no more. Like, they clearly don't.
Cut it.
Hey, Ness. I just got a call, text from Virgil Hunter. He can come on now if you want him to, or we can just
send him the number.
All right.
Good if he could call in. Send me the area code so I know.
I will. Go ahead and take another caller.
You sure?
Yep.
You sure?
Yes. Why you keep on saying you sure? The caller could be halfway done.
Brandon, talk to me. Shit.
What's good, TBV? Can you hear me?
We hear you.
Yeah, what?
We lost you. We lost you, Brandon. We lost you. I'm sorry, Brandon. I made a mistake, brother. I got to keep the order in order because you don't want to be skipped. Apologies. It's hard to man all these computers. I'm actually, trying to do other things. It's difficult. I uploaded some videos if you haven't checked. Then I got a sending some other videos from the UK. So yeah, man, it's apologies, Brandon, but we're coming to you. At least I know your number by heart now. We're getting there.
Nigga, when my name come up, respect it.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Hey, yo, step down to them boy. Oh, yeah, talk the boy, go suck out your mama bumbo. And give your father a body wash too.
Damn, you killed like 10 people in your intro.
Oh, man. You guys good?
I'm good. What's going on, Deej? How you been?
Yeah, not so bad. I'm hoping this White thing isn't a rumor. On the other hand, I'm thinking the guys at Sky have got to be hopping mad at the moment. It feels like British boxing's heading for a little bit of a slump. Couple of our big stars retiring, out the game. I can't see where the next pay-per-views are going to come from domestic level in the UK for Sky anyway. So, but White, he's got to go. He's got to go. He's got to do his thing. I was trying to say, look, I think I can't try to cut us off. Last time I was talking about her not doing a good job for White. You know, I think the consensus is White is a better heavyweight than Hughie Fury. You know, Hughie Fury has had a title shot against Joseph Parker, and he's had an eliminator against what's his name, Pulev. You know, what's it called? White wouldn't even go and fight Pulev after he lost the purse bid. But why weren't Matchroom winning that purse bid for the guy? A guy that has been really loyal to him as well. So all this talk about the guy's made him a millionaire. No, White's just took every stupid fight there was, to be fair. Some of them fights you can look at them on paper and say, that is a better fight for Sky than it is for Dillian White. That's going to put Sky in a better position than it is Dillian White. That's all I was trying to say. And now I think Dillian White sees right on the wall. He's starting to get it. He's starting to get that Chisora on the undercard, getting nowhere. He's starting to get Helenius on Joshua undercard, get nowhere. He's starting to get back Joseph Parker. Just got him kicked out of, was it the IBF rankings? And these are nonsense fights for him and brilliant fights for Sky. So, yeah, that's what I got.
Great call, Deej. Appreciate it.
We got Brandon. Talk to me. I was about to go to somebody else. Brandon, you see that?
Yeah. I don't mind Dillian White signing ESPN. He's took the title shot route. It hasn't really worked out for him. So now it seems like he's taking the business route, trying to make as much money as he can. And the title shot will come when it comes. So I can respect that. It looks like what Bob Arum is doing is quite simple. He signed two guys that are either in mandatory spots or close to mandatory spots. And he's banking on winning every purse bid and forcing these championship fights to be on ESPN. What is going to be interesting is if he loses these purse bids to other entities, and then I wonder if he'll allow those guys he's got contracts to fight on those other channels, or will he make them pull out of them since he lost the purse bid? That's what we'll see. You know, that's when things will get interesting. But it looks like he's just banking on nobody's got bigger wallets than him, so he's just going to take everything to purse bid and hopefully win. So. But at the end of the day, I don't care, because hopefully this just gets us closer to the undisputed fight with Joshua and Wilder at the end of the day. So that's my call.
Brandon, thanks for calling in. We're going to Joshua, New Orleans. Talk to me. Good morning.
Yeah, what up? Can y'all hear me fine?
You got hella background noise, but go for it.
Hey, I'm gonna be in Dallas that weekend. Where y'all gonna be at in Dallas?
About a mile away from. Whoa, Joshua. Definitely follow me on social media so that you get obviously more information. We will be in Dallas. We're staying about a mile away from the arena, and yeah, we're gonna be trying to do as much as possible. So. Definitely get with us. Hate to cut you off, but you are in a machining factory or something right now. Stunner, talk to me.
You hear me?
We hear you.
Yep.
All right. Be honest, I like the deal. I'm happy for White. You know what I mean? He's been putting in his work. It's undeniable. I'm not even gonna harp on Dylan Houston anymore. It is what it is. I guess I would rather see. Look, between Oscar Rivas and I'll say Pulev, I guess I would rather see Pulev fight, because I mean, I don't see Pulev knocking out White in any way, shape, or fashion. But he can box a little bit. I know Pulev has a very good jab. Oscar Rivas is kind of too small. I feel like Dillian White will eventually just like body him up. I mean, this shit caught me off guard, man. I don't know, man. Like realistically, let's say that. Like, what are two realistic fights for Dillian White if he doesn't fight for a title this year? Like.
There's Brian Jennings. You said Oscar Rivas.
Well, no. Oscar Rivas.
Brian Jennings is on there.
That are there any other heavyweights that are out there right now that are like decent that we aren't even like taking into consideration? I mean, does anybody else ESPN can just grab up right now? I mean,
JP Joseph Parker.
Is that one? I mean, no, he's already top ranked though. Oh, yeah, he's already top ranked.
No, he ain't top ranked. He Duco or something like that.
Well, he has to deal with. Yeah, I was under the impression that Parker had some type of deal still under Bob Arum, or he owned some type of rights to him. But I don't know. I mean, like I said, I'm just caught off guard by this whole thing. I'll digest it. And I'll have
90 seconds. JD Boomerang.
Yeah, no, I really wanted to lay in on that fact that when you ask him about Ortiz, this man starts talking about UFC and the Lakers and shit, talking about the Super Bowl, everything else but Ortiz, man. It would have been. I heard. I don't know the guy's name. He tried to clear it up. He asked a few more Ortiz questions because it sounded suspect what old boy was doing. But thank you for continuing to follow up on those questions, man, because we need clarity. But I guess we got it. You know what I mean? Because they're not focused on them. But yo, I'm less than a mile away from the Cowboy Stadium too, man. So yeah, we'll link up there Friday morning though, man, when I get there.
All right, JD, thanks for calling in. We got Deej Boomerang. Okay.
10
seconds. No
You there, Deej?
No Deej. So we're going to Rod in North Carolina.
Hey, yeah, I'm thinking this is a good business deal for Dylan White because he playing second fiddle, he playing the stepchild in the Eddie Hearn relationship. I just think he's really focused on Joshua and not him, so it's a good business move for him. But like your other caller said, they dodged that Ortiz question, and like I told y'all Sunday, Ortiz ain't lost no position in this situation. He's still going to get a shot at the title. Hopefully they thinking like y'all were thinking Sunday. He ain't got this, he ain't got that, and they give him a chance to fight. That's my call.
I have to say I agree with what you guys have said. The past couple of callers that have called in, when Dean White was on the phone, he did actually skip around the Ortiz question. He didn't really want to answer it.
It was your job. It was your job to push as the AJ protector.
No. Ron asked him the question first. I then asked him 2 more questions about Ortiz. He didn't want to answer the question.
Yeah, we pressed it. Mike started talking about the border wars in between, and then Colin followed back up.
All right. So I'm your host, Mr. Gibbs. Find me on Instagram and Twitter at NSGTO. Listen, I implore you to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're about 25 away from 98,000. Plus, you want to get this notification because we're coming right back ASAP. Breaking news just broke, and we're going to be back to talk about it. Why wouldn't we? Peace. Wait, obviously you guys got to say something. Ron, you're muted or not talking. I don't hear you.
Yeah, Ron? We're going to be back with another one. Catch you on the next one, guys.
I didn't hit the button. You can find me at Ronji FIQ. I got to head out to the press conference, so you'll see these awesome guys on the show and maybe Virgil Hunter, possibly. Peace.
Follow me on IG at Gross1911 and on Twitter at Gross2312. Peace out.
Noah Khan. All right, bye.
I already went.